So I want to make a video on a guru yoga that anybody can do if they can't find a guru and they are reading a lot of books, especially the books that were generated during the working life of Lama Nyoshul Rinpoche, which is, anything on Buddhism that was written like from 1970 or even earlier onward, or Bon or anything like that. Is that when you're reading books of the nature of intensities, say starting with the light blue books, because I've got some books that are lighter weight in there, he will be present, but he won't be as concentrated, not as focused. Is that as you start to engage, if you grew up reading books and visualizing in your mind, like the Tolkien books, and you would just, or the C.S. Lewis, you just take your, go and spend the summer in Narnia, because you hold up in your room reading books and things like that, and you could see it in your mind's eye, and you could walk around in it, and all of that sort of stuff. If you were that kind of person, you're going to notice that these books, even when they describe the mandalas, you're not generating it the same way. And why not? Okay, so you need to start building the accumulations because you are interacting with real beings. If you were able to visualize like that, you were doing the sending out the hooks, filling the vases, making them act in a certain way. But they would be subject to other people and their agendas, and you could be manipulated by these characters. If you want to be manipulated by better characters, you need to be able to do this kind of thing. So it's good to clear your channels. This is done as a breathing exercise. Tenzin Wangyal is the method that I described, a method from the Bon tradition. There was another method that was the Dujam Rinpoche and Kenshin or Kempo Swang Dongyal of the finger rolls and all that. But the method that is more available, and I think I'm okay to tell people about it. You can buy a book on it that describes this. He has the books that describe it. Is you do the 9 breaths, and I've found that's been very effective. You visualize breathing in one nostril at a time, and it's different for men and women. Breathing in one nostril, green. And so first it's the right, you want to close the left nostril if you're a woman, or if you're a man, the right nostril if you're a woman, and breathe in from the left. I think, let me see here. Okay, so the man is facing you, he starts with the right. A woman would be facing him and mirroring him. And you want to clear the Rasana and Lalana. So the Rasana has the red, the Lalana has the white. And then they come, I'm not really good at this, but my visualization improves with teaching though. So your channels, they open up, they come in, they go out your nostrils, they come up about the level of your eyes or your eyebrows. The central one opens up like a trumpet. The side ones come down, red and white, with blue in the center. And you breathe in green, out light blue out of the white one. Then you switch sides, breathe in green, out red out of the red one. And then you breathe in both. They go down, they come up into the central channel, push out all the impurities, come out the top of your head, come out your ears. And you need to really focus on thinking about them coming out your head and ears and not your nose. It doesn't really work if you're blowing out your nose. You're literally blowing the air out, but the visualization doesn't work. You don't get the feeling of bliss. It doesn't work unless you think about the black smoke coming out your head and ears. And if you can tie this to what we've been talking about, is that what you're doing every single day every time you do this, every time I sit down, I do this. So I do this twice a day. I don't do it before I read books, but you could. When you do these 9 breaths, you're taking, say you've cleared yourself, you're perfect, you're good, but you're still breathing, and your neighbor's still making dope at the C-store. So, who knows what moron he's chopped up today to put in the party drugs. So you're purifying that person out of your system, whatever you've breathed in, whatever craziness has come in. And I like to tie this to Shitty Garba, who I consider my personal Yidam. And there is no Yidam practice in the Yidam tradition for Shitty Garba. So I had to learn the essence because I was just really tied into Shitty Garba from a long time. And there's so many other things that relate to him. His syllable is ha. So when you're doing Chakra Samvara and you're Om Hri Ha Ha Hum Hum Pat, his ha ha is going up. And I think about it as, today I had the visualization when I was doing Guru Yoga of the hobgoblins who are vases and the positive energy that they may have eaten leaving hell and the sludge going back to hell. And when that positive energy hits hell, it generates a hobgoblin. So if you want to dissolve a hobgoblin, you try to lift people out of hell in various ways, get them to back into life, various lives, to get rid of their unfinished business. And then that hell sludge, which is beyond an element, it's the opposite of light. Light is not an element. That hell sludge goes back down. So we've got both the light and the dark in us. We've got the creative energy of light that comes from beyond us, that travels through the Buddhas, becomes Buddha things, so that we have a Buddha redaction. It goes through our guru, so we have a guru redaction. It goes through us so that we are another redaction. This does not return to its origin. It is not reabsorbed back in. That's one of the things that a lot of people get really, really wrong. And as long as you keep that light alive, eventually that light will turn into something that's more durable than even the 5 element atoms, the partless particles. But if you don't do that, you're generating sludge. And that sludge needs to be cleared out of you. So some people do Bindra Vajrasattva. Some people do Vajraharuka, Bindra Haruka. Depending on which one your guru suggested. In my case, it's Bindra Haruka. In order to do Bindra-sattva, you need an authorization that not all of us are going to get. And one of the ways where people didn't have authorization or they had prohibition was they did the 100-syllable Bindra-haruka mantra instead. It's almost the same, it's just slightly different. And so if you do Vajraharuka or Bindra-sattva and they don't consider you authorized in their franchise, they will encourage you, oh, that's a great practice, that's a great practice, that's a great practice, and so up with a Bindra straw and just suck it all out of you. So if you don't want that to happen, if you're in a different situation, if you're blonde hair, blue-eyed, redhead, if you're half Haruka or 100% Haruka, do the Haruka mantra, not the other one. And it has the same effect, same visualization, same clearing out. So you can do a Lama Nyoshul chant every day. If you're reading books and stuff like that, I want you, that's not the only thing you can do, but it's a place to start, and we do the Longchenpa one. So it's Om Lama Nyoshul Siddhi Aham. And you can add to that, once that gets easier, and you do a mala of that every day, you do a number of you could do one of the things I did until I got the signs to stop is every evening before bed, because this place is a nightmare, I did that mantra, one mala, and then you need the last book in this series, in the dark blue series, that has the instructions for this. It is a Longchenpa visualization. I was already doing the one I just told you from the nature of, let's see here. Yes. It's in the Finding Rest in trilogy. Okay. the Finding Rest in trilogy, all these. That was the mantra I gave you, and then you do. Anybody who's learning from the books has Lama Nyoshul for their guru. Okay. We discussed this. This is what it had planned, and he needed somebody like me to explain it to people so that they could start doing that if they want to. If you don't want to, he's going to be very offended, and he's going to be an obstructor. So if you're going to read any books on Buddhism at all, and you're on your own, and you're not the kind of person that can get past Mickey Hart and the hecklers, and you need to do it like this. Now, after you've gotten good at that, there's a mandala that's described. It's just a brief mandala. Longchenpa is very concise. And you do peaceful, enriching, magnetizing, and wrathful. And you visualize the associated colors, which you can learn from these books. And usually the visualization is just the spheres or discs. And it's Om Lama Nyoshul Siddhi Aham, and Shantam Kuru Soha, and then you do Om Lama Nyoshul Siddhi Aham, Pushtim Kuru Soha, Om Lama Nyoshul Siddhi Aham, Basham Kuru Soha, Om Lama Nyoshul Siddhi Aham, Dongek Maraya Pat. And you want to do it clockwise, not counterclockwise, as it probably looks on YouTube. Do that I recommend the evening, especially if you live in a terrifying circumstance, until such time as he starts to talk to you. And another thing you can do is build a stupa for him with a seed syllable nyo, which is like snyo. Let's see here. I've got it drawn here. Let me see. That's it. And you could do like scrolls with that and put it in a stupa, put in offerings, things that you have meaning for you, and then have like a guru stupa with meaningful things. It's going to be a learning process. He will interact with you. You'll get it wrong at first. Learn to understand when a Buddha's happy and when a Buddha's not happy. A guru is a Buddha. And so things happening in your life, maybe your guru shrine ain't right. Maybe you need to move some things around. I put mine in a mendir, a puja mendir. Yeah. I got one up there, and I got another over there that's his. And he likes those. All kinds of different things. We can talk about the things that he likes. And if you do those kinds of things, he will support you to read. Maybe I can come show you what mine looks like at the moment. So, yeah, there it is. So, and I've got Amitabha behind him. He actually wrote a brief Prajnaparamita Sutra on the boxwood box that has a Imperial Morning tea set in it that he picked out for himself. So I have relics of his in the shrine. I have a stupa you unscrew the bottom and you fill it with stuff, and then there's this thing at the top. I have meaningful objects inside there for him. I've got offerings at the bottom. I kind of need to work on what's below here, and then it's situated in a room in which maybe you aren't going to be able to do all of this, but in time he's going to want you to do things like this for him. He is very demanding, but you do get to the end of it. So that is something that you can start with. If you have Guru Rinpoche initiations and stuff like that, add it to that. If you have a copy of a book that has Kenshin Palden Sharab's personal guru chant in that, one of the things that we talked about, because I was like attached to studying the Tibetan and stuff, he said just write down the English and say it in English. I know it's got a song and all of that. You've got the nature of the poetry and all of that, but it's more important than the poetry to understand the meaning. And I use, let's see here, where did I put that? In the Dark Red Amulet, which I think is out of print again, but they reprinted it a couple of years ago. And in the back of this is the Bindra Sadhana. There's a dedication, 2 dedication poems in front. I say those every day because that really is the essence of his teaching. And then I go to the refuge and the bodhicitta, which he's written in there, which are a Bon refuge and a Bon bodhicitta that he's put in here. So he's got this is Nyingma style Bon, is what we're talking about here. But you want to, this is a method in which we incorporate other people that he has supported, other traditions, because he got involved in every kind of tradition. I have Zen stuff up there because he got involved with Zen. So whatever you're reading of these methods, especially if you're starting to read the source materials, if you know the difference between a popular publication, a personal publication, or the source material classics and stuff like that. If you're reading any of the source material classics, he was involved, and you need to do this. And it also helps to do a Manjushri stuff at some point in your day, especially with the Mo and everything, and to think about these things. Because divination, somebody could be very intellectual, and in our society we think that divination is very superstitious. So we need to work with ourselves on what our superstition, our attitude towards what we perceive as superstition is, and how that affects how we engage with these texts that talk about us projecting reality out of our eyes. And some of these historical texts are going to conflict with your understanding of science, but they are more factual than science.